I'm doing that. This is Killer Carl, and welcome to... Hey, me and Matt here, and this is Killer Kyle. Welcome to another episode of Wheels of Fury, and we continue on with our look back at year series 1993. And I figure since we've done these and we've done double WWF episodes, say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing 2 WCW episodes. Tonight, first, we do WCW Beach Blast.
Yes. And I'm familiar with pretty much all of the WCW pay-per-views from back then. Bash at the Beach, Halloween Havoc, Sold Out, Fall Brawl, Great American Bash, etc., etc. This one, I think, was only a one-time only thing that they did in 93 that I'm not really familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was the famous beach skit with Bulldog and Big Van Vader and Sting.
Yeah, Bulldog and Sting and Vader and Sid.
Yes. So there's that. I know that Brian Zane did a review from that. Also watched a podcast with Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Right.
But I couldn't get through it because it was so long. And so, you try to find footage of it and it just... So basically, I tried.
Yeah.
Well, try to get through it, but...
And I think, seeing as how we just had a pizza,
Canada's finest.
stuffed crust pizza, did a review of that. Even though it's a Wheels of Fury episode, but what the fuck. Let's do a review of a different kind with a little liquid refreshment.
Oh, yes, sir. I tend to forget about these. I usually open that later, but...
Yeah, it's okay. So, Matt came up to my apartment yesterday to talk with me about some stuff that was kind of bothering him. And we had a couple drinks yesterday. And I had this in my cupboard yesterday. And he's like, oh, we should do that for tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, totally. So, went out Wednesday and, I went to Wendy's for lunch, and then on my way back, thought, you know what, I'll pop in the liquor store. I had an intention in mind of, well, there's something I had heard about that I was wondering if we had at the liquor store here in Canada, but I don't think we do unless it's not at the liquor store, our location. It's called Buzzballs.
Buzzballs? No, I've never heard.
Went into they've got a section at the back that's, I'll say, refrigerated, and that's where they have all the beers in that. And then where you pay for your whatever alcohol you're buying, there's a couple of displays, I'll call it, with like smaller balls, like Meckies and that. So I seen this and I was like, oh, I've heard about that. I wanted to try it, and Matt saw it and he seems interested in it. We'll see what it's like. I haven't tried it yet. There's another one too that I know. I'd like to see if I could find and maybe try it, but we've got some Jack Daniels, but Jack Daniels of a different kind. This is the Tennessee Fire.
Yeah, now, I definitely heard of Fireball.
Yes.
Now, at the time, I didn't like cinnamon, but I had confused that with something else. Cinnamon and whiskey come hand in hand a lot, I find.
Yeah.
So, when I saw that, I was like, I wonder how that would taste.
Yeah.
But since Jack Daniels is one of the more famous American whiskeys,
Yeah. Yeah, Jack Daniels is definitely one of the more famous American whiskeys. Now, there is, the regular Jack Daniels, which I have a bottle of as well. We had some of that for Wrestle Dream, I believe it was.
yes.
And then when I saw the Tennessee Fire, I was like, oh yeah, let's grab a bottle of that, see what that's like. They also have a Jack Daniels Tennessee Honey.
Oh. And I mean, that'll be interesting to try. I know that I went to that store myself, and it's all like rye and Coke. There's no
Yeah.
rum and Coke, which I'm a little disappointed at, but
Right.
anyways, so thank you for that. And thank you for whoever watches this, and hopefully we'll not screw anything up. Once again, it's hard to find
Yeah.
matches, but anyways, here's to you, here's to us.
Yes.
Subscribe, Killer Kyle 34,
Mm-hmm.
Mean Matt's World,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's it. That's the love you.
That's true. That's good.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. With the Fireball, it's more on the sweet side. This is, I would say, whiskey connoisseurs, you could say. They say that Fireball isn't really a whiskey, and I can kind of see where they're coming from with that. Because, it's a little on the sweeter side. This, though, it's like you get more of the cinnamon flavor than you do
Yeah.
the Jack Daniel, but it's good.
Oh, and I mean, it's a great way to end a meal, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because yes, it's not a dessert by any means, like let's say the 40 Creek Nanaimo bars or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But it has that quality sweetness to it. The aftertaste is that. I mean, it's excellent.
Yeah, like it's sweet without being like cloyingly sweet, or like super duper sweet.
Yeah.
Like like I said, Fireball is more on the sweeter side, but also it's the cinnamon flavor is more intense
Yeah.
with Fireball. Then again, like Fireball is flavored after the Red Hots.
Yes.
So, that's pretty intense cinnamon flavor. And so the Fireball's that same intensity. With the Tennessee Fire, it's cinnamon, but it's not as intense.
No. No, not at all. It's actually really good. And
Yes.
like I said, a very good aftertaste.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, it's on time to go to the beach.
Yeah.
So this show had Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura. Now, at this time, obviously, Jesse went over to WCW, and kind of interesting because in the early 90s it was Tony Schiavone and Jesse the Body and WWF, and now they're in WCW once again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good pair. Jesse had a weird haircut,
Yeah.
as always. Yeah. Anyways. So we got the first match, Ron Simmons versus Paul Orndorff.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it was, like, at this point in time, but it was around this point in time. I think it was. He was coming out to, like, an operatic Mr. Wonderful song.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, very different from, what, I don't think he came out to any Hansen's music back in, well, when he was in the WWF.
Yeah. And like I said before, I got introduced to Paul Orndorff when he was in WCW.
Right.
And then, of course, a few years later, I saw him in WrestleMania 1. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he was in WWF. Alright, cool.
Yep.
But this was a good match, too.
Right.
Got Ron attacks Paul's leg. And, this is after Paul misses a drop kick.
We had Ron and a power slam on to Paul.
Yeah.
And then, but unfortunately, Ron got disqualified for throwing Orndorff over the top rope, which was a rule back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if I call it a stupid rule, but I mean, you know how I feel about disqualifications. I mean, nothing to take away from Ron Simmons. He's one of the best wrestlers in WCW.
Yes.
Obviously, a year before, he became the first black WCW heavyweight champion.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty fucking cool. Should have taken notes, Vince.
Yeah.
Paul Orndorff, obviously, one of the guys that could have really done better in WWF, and I know that I don't mention him when talking about guys that should have got the heavyweight title.
Right, yeah.
But he could definitely have benefited from that because of his eventual feud with Hogan.
Yeah.
I mean, both guys from Tampa, so it was like...
Right, yeah.
It was interesting to see where that could have gone had the title. And you know what, who knows? Maybe the WWF title was put on the line at some point with those two.
Yeah, who knows?
But I mean, this was a good match, and I think that with Ron Simmons and his career, dating back to his football career, or, having those crazy workouts with Hiro Mansuda, just kind of the rough, the rough and tough, whatever you will.
Right.
And it's almost like you talk about people knocking, especially WWF for not pushing, black wrestlers.
Right.
But at the same time, in those days, and, this was the South.
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine that, having a guy from Georgia, a black dude from Georgia, winning the heavyweight title in Bill Watts' territory.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would have been a huge deal if, say Ron wrestled from Georgia Championship Wrestling, or even Florida Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
That would have been a huge, huge deal, especially considering the fact that Ron played football for Florida State.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would have been a huge, huge deal.
It's unfortunate that he never got a singles title on WWF or WWE, for that matter. That would have been cool. I mean, fuck. Go to ECW. His cup of coffee there. You know? Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you take a guy like him, and he wasn't your typical hip hop guy or boxer type gimmick like Kama the Supreme Fighting Machine.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He was himself.
he was himself, yeah. So, I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame twice.
Yes.
So I mean, that's pretty cool.
So next you got his tag team match with Too Cold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell against the Godwins 2.
I don't know why I put the two there.
Or the Godwins.
Well, they weren't called the Godwins back then. I can't remember what their name. Southern Justice.
Oh, Oh, yeah, Southern Justice, alright.
So I guess this was a good match. I mean, you got Scorpio slipping on Bagwell's back for a move, whatever.
Yeah, whatever the fuck the move was.
Yeah. Got Tex back drops Scorpio, and Scorpio hits a crossbody, a big splash for the win.
Yep.
So it was a pretty interesting take team. I mean, once again, there's a guy that would wrestle in ECW,
Yep.
go to WWF as Flash Funk.
Yep.
You know, he would actually team up with Terry Funk
Right.
at one point. But here's, this guy who, again, another black wrestler that I'm honestly not sure how many titles he's won.
Yeah.
Maybe not in WCW, but ECW at least. And wherever else he wrestled.
Yeah.
I know he didn't really get shit in WWF.
No.
Big surprise. But Mark Bagwell, here's a guy that unfortunately his WWF run didn't last very long.
No.
The match with Booker T.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, besides Marcus Bagwell, the latter part of WCW was the shits for him.
Yeah. I mean, early on in his career, he was teaming with Scotty Riggs, and they were the American Males.
Yes.
So there is that, and then, yeah. Eric Watts versus Lord Steven Krieger.
Yep.
Now, of course, everybody knows, I'm sure, that Eric Watts is Cowboy Bill Watts' son.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. He did not bad in WCW. Did okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know too many of his matches. I mean, I know more about Greg Garner than I do about him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he wasn't too bad, I guess. I mean, Steven Regal, one of the... Well, we know him quite well, obviously.
Yes.
And, I mean, at that time, he wasn't in the right frame of mind.
No.
So, it was kind of... not as good a career that I think he would have wanted in WCW.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a lot of chain wrestling in the beginning of this match,
Right.
which I believe Regal was always a good technician anyways.
Oh, absolutely.
But like I said, I don't know nothing much about Eric, so
Yeah.
then, Regal attacks his leg and rolls him up for the win.
Right.
So, I mean, once again, there's, another quick match. But I think that, William Regal, Steven Regal, Darren, one of the best wrestlers of this time.
Oh, yeah,
the
absolutely.
90s and 2000s. I mean, you look at his later work in WWF.
Oh, yeah.
you know, WWE. He
Yeah.
had a lot of great matches with his fellow WCW wrestler of Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Or, you know, his teaming up with Tajiri.
Yeah.
Or hell, even Nick Desmond or whatever, Eugene.
Oh, yeah. Nick Dinsmore. Max Payne versus Johnny B. Bad.
Yep. Mark Mero.
Yep, the marvelous one.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny because we talk about having Ron Simmons as the first black world champion of WCW, the first black guy to win in the South. Of course, at that time, you have a guy like Johnny B. Bad, Mark Merrill, with the idea of having him dress as kind of like a flamboyant Little Richard type guy.
Yeah.
And kind of funny because Little Richard was from Macon, Georgia,
Yes.
the first black gay guy to come out of Macon, Georgia. No wonder, like, he was as big as he was. 'Cause
Oh,
of
yeah.
that time period. But
Yes.
this was a good match. They started out with a slugfest. Payne attacked the arm, you know, tried to use the painkiller,
Right.
and
Bad hit a sunset flip and did a crossbody to get the win.
yeah,
So, yeah. And, like, Max Payne he was a knockoff of somebody. Well, not a knockoff, but, like, he was this, like, guitarist.
oh yeah, because he came up to the ring and he had the guitar that he was playing,
Yeah.
obviously. And then you have Johnny B. Bad coming out with a flamboyant mask and everything.
Right.
And just like Paul Orndorff, well, in this case, knew Johnny B. Bad because I would read the WCW magazines.
Yeah.
Now, watching WCW itself, although I did watch a few things, but looking at the magazines, seeing Johnny B. Bad,
Yeah.
and then come 1996, joining WWF.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, Max Payne was like this, struggling artist, or musician, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And then there's also a guy that wrestled for WCW for a couple years at least, Van Hammer,
Yes.
who was like a Eddie Van Halen kind of knockoff.
Yeah. We have the Hollywood Blondes
Yeah.
versus the Four Horsemen. Now, this was Paul Roma and Arn Anderson.
Yep.
And this was a fairly good match.
Right.
I mean, all four of these guys were very talented, and, you know, I don't know if Arn gets enough credit as being a very good wrestler.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, Arn's underrated. He's not highly regarded,
Right.
And we talk about members of the Four Horsemen, talk a lot about Ric Flair, talk a lot about Tully Blanchard, talk a lot about Barry Windham, and who, the laundry list is a mile long and a yard wide of, guys that were in the Four Horsemen that were good, that were, very good wrestlers. Arn was a very good wrestler in his own right. It's just he should be mentioned more than he is, in my opinion.
True. Yeah, he's a good one. Like, yeah, and that's the thing, too, with that unfortunate accident.
Yeah.
It's like he was limited.
Right.
I mean, he would throw punches here and there. He actually did the Brain Buster at WrestleMania 18. The Spine Buster.
Spine Buster, yeah.
Yeah. Became a vampire at AEW, but I mean, again, a very underrated wrestler. Well, it depends on how you look at it. But yeah, Steve and Roma started the match while Pillman was on the outside being taunted by the fans with this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. And again, it started slowly, anyways.
Yeah.
When you look at Steve Austin's career, it's like there's two parts of it, obviously. You have the guy who was very much a high flyer. He had a lot more, well, he had a lot more of that. Even in, well, when he went to ECW, he was beginning to show signs of the Stone Cold character.
Yes.
And then, of course, there was the Ringmaster thing.
Right.
Then, with the unfortunate accident with Owen,
Yeah.
he had to change up his style.
Yeah.
Not that he really did a lot of top rope moves in WWF at that time,
Yeah.
but anyhow,
It was a slow start, and Austin and Arn wrestled for a little while. Arn tried to pin, Robo distracted the ref. Austin wins his match for the team by holding the trunks of whoever the fuck he pinned.
it was a heel move. And I think, the Hollywood Blondes were a very good team in WCW.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't think Austin was happy at first,
Yeah.
but obviously it made him money.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And when you look at their shit in WWF,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't say shit, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a different time, It was kind of like what could have been.
Yeah.
I think if Pillman were alive today, and I know that his son is living through him.
Yes.
In fact, he will make his debut shortly
Yeah.
in NXT,
Right.
and so that'll be cool. Steve Austin retired at 38. Well, I heard the other day it was 39, so
38, 39, somewhere in there.
yeah. And it is what it is. The guy had a good career. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
wrestling Kevin Steen at WrestleMania 38
Yes.
was like one of the best things I've seen in a long time. A guy that was told that he couldn't wrestle no more, and he
Yeah.
went in and he did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, it was a one and done thing, but still.
Yeah. And I mean, like, for Austin to be in his 50s, wrestling a guy like Kevin Owens, and, like, taking bumps on concrete, and taking bumps on the ramp,
Yeah.
on the stage, it's like, it's almost as if he never left.
No. No, but he had to work out hardcore,
Oh, absolutely.
and he had to change his diet around, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy wrestled like he didn't miss a beat.
No, not at all. Now, I do remember Austin saying that he started working out and, eating healthy and whatever because he didn't like the way he looked. He wanted to feel better, he wanted to look better, and that's ultimately why he started working out and eating better. As far as him getting back in the ring and having this match against, Kevin Owens, who knows what the lead up to that was and what his reasoning was, maybe just to have that one more match.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he really wanted to make Kevin look good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you would have showed up and you were the shits, like
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been very good on either you or him.
Yeah, exactly. And like, when he had his last match at WrestleMania 19 against Rock, and he lost, I think it was almost as if he was like, I want to come back, have one more match, and win, and then I'll be happy.
So now we go to the main match. Dusty Rhodes versus Rick Rude for the U.S. title.
Yeah. And this match looks like there's a lot of things that went on.
I mean, they both hit the camel clutch on each other. They both hit a tombstone on each other. You got Rick Rude hitting the Rude Awakening to win the first fall.
Yeah. Put Rose in the sleeper. Rose hit a bulldog to tie it up at one fall apiece. They went on a little bit more, and Dustin hit a DDT, but ran out of time. So the match ended in a time limit draw, and
Yeah, Rick Rude retained.
Rick retained the title.
Yeah, it's kind of like they really could have went over time, but I don't think that was the plan back then.
No, probably not.
I mean, this was 2 years, 3 years, whatever the fuck it was, before WrestleMania 12.
Right.
Not that that's an excuse, but I think there's more matches on this card that I don't think they could have went over time.
Not.
You think, well, there could have been a winner, and you know, Rick Rude as the U.S. champion was pretty cool, and then he eventually got injured, and you know, that was basically it for him. He made a few appearances, and well, actually, he did make a couple years in WWF with DX.
Yeah.
Before returning to the ring, and then going to ECW, and then not quite sure where else. And then, you know, his untimely death. So it was like,
Yeah.
and then obviously we know that Dustin became Gold Dust shortly after, and
Yes.
he basically had, well, it was like William Regal's career in WCW. It was just dark days for him, and that was
Right.
Dustin's time in Impact, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, he got himself healthy. He became Gold Dust again. Did a career in AEW. He's probably still there.
Yeah.
You know, had that epic match with Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Your half brother of like 20 something years.
Yeah.
You know, finally getting a match.
Barry Windham versus the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Woo! The NWA title.
Yep. Yeah, you got Rick, Chop City
Yeah.
on Barry. Barry hit a suplex. Rick goes for the knee of Barry, puts on the figure four. Barry taps out. Rick retains the title.
Yeah, I mean, this was cool. I think, you know, one of those things where it was like, both guys were very good in the ring. They had a very stellar career. And just watching the whole Chris Van Vliet video, like interview with Rick, and Chris asked him, if you could speak to your younger self, what would you say?
Yeah.
And Rick was like, I think that you're the drizzling shits and you gotta get back into the gym and take care of yourself before you get back out there. Or you might as well change your name. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, when Rick started, he had obviously a different physique.
Yes.
I thought maybe that's what a lot of wrestlers looked like back then.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, afterwards, changing his look, having the long blonde hair, you know, you could imagine what it would be like if he didn't have the whole gimmick Well, he even left the gimmick, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Rolex watches, expensive shoes, suits.
Suits, alligator shoes, Rolexes, limousines, jets, pretty ladies.
Woo! Styling and profiling.
$10,000 robes. You know.
And yes, I know we almost lost him in 2017.
Yeah.
I think that he was never my favorite wrestler, but the fact is, you have to respect Ric Flair.
Oh fuck yeah.
You know, he's one of the biggest legends in wrestling. And I mean, Barry Windham, there's a guy that we almost lost recently.
Yeah.
You know, and it is one of those things where, you know, you believe in what you want to believe, but it's like, we almost lost Barry,
Yeah.
and he survived, and then shortly after that, we lose Wyndham Rotunda.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
36 years.
Yep.
So, but this was a good match, and like I said, two guys that you know what, we talk about the Four Horsemen.
Right.
So, and yeah, I think this was the last time that NWA would be associated with WCW.
I believe so. Tag team match, as we referenced a little bit earlier. Sting and the British Bulldog versus Sid and Big Van Vader.
Yeah, this was cool. I mean, Sid chokeslam Sting. You have Sting who beat up the Bulldog. So basically, the heels took over in the beginning of this match.
Yeah. Yeah, Sid chokeslamming Sting. Sid beating up the Bulldog. Sting bit Vader, you got the tag to the Bulldog. Bulldog got a crucifix pin on Vader for the win.
Which I'm wondering how that went.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, I mean, this is a very classic storyline, if you saw the vignettes, and I think that's the thing, you know. You want to have serious professional wrestling, but when you think about sports entertainment, you think about things like the beach thing, whatever, with the kids and the charity work, and, you know, having that fun.
Yes.
And then, of course, this match. And I think that's what WWF and WCW, at least from the 80s and the early 90s,
Yeah.
were all about.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, that's what was cool about it.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not everybody's flavor, if you will.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, I always say you have to have something for everybody. So, but yeah, this was a really good match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole show, top to bottom, was pretty good. It was really good.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought you would see Sting and Bulldog team together?
Oh, yeah, that's something I never thought about. Like, I mean, Sid and Big Van Vader, like, I don't know how they got together.
Yeah.
I mean, it was two different styles, obviously, and that works in a tag team. But, I mean, yeah, British Bulldog and Sting were, like, very good singles wrestlers.
Yes.
When you look at Davey Boy in WWF having the tag team titles with his cousin,
Yeah.
or, you know, winning the Intercontinental title at his home.
Yep.
You know, and then you go to WCW, you know, I don't know how many titles that Davey Boy won
Yeah, really.
in WCW. But if it weren't for the whole thing at War Games,
Yeah.
he would not have had the issues that he had. And I mean, he had issues before it, but then it got intensified.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's the reason why he never got the WWF title push
Yeah.
that he should have got.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, still ahead of his time.
Yes, very much so.
I think a lot of those guys were somewhat, But this was a really good show. And, we talk about first. This is the first time that Eric Bischoff took over for Watts.
Yes.
So this has been Beach Blast 1993.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, because that's what the topic is for this Wheels of Fury year series. So
Yes.
we are doing a double episode,
Yes.
and because it's our favorite time of year coming up, we talk of
Halloween Havoc.
spin the wheel, make a deal.
Yes, sir.
So we will be with you in a minute.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Deuces.